any new attendees in the last few minutes. And so I think I'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. And we do have a quorum. All of you who are residents of Westminster are members of the Residents Association, so we do have a quorum. During this time of concern and illness and even death, I would like for us to pause for a moment in remembrance of those who we've lost and those in need and who are ill here at Westminster or in our city or our state or our nation or anywhere in the world. So, Judy, if you would, please, Judy. Thank you, Judy. This is our first and hopefully our last virtual annual meeting. It's a webinar, and so the people whose pictures you see on the screen are people that are going to be participating in the program this evening. And the people, the rest of those in attendance are called attendees. And you should have the option on the bottom of your screen somewhere to raise your hand. If you do that, let's see if you can raise your hand so that we know you're here. Yeah, I see. Okay. Everybody else, can you raise your hand? Thank you.
Ari's here. Here I am. I'm Judy Skaggs. Couldn't be in better person.
All right, Lori. Thank you. Glad you made it.
Yes, so am I.
Okay, we're in the middle of taking roll here, so just bear with us. Okay, it looks like we have how many people in attendance? Can somebody read that for me?
55.
55. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very good. We're happy to have you all with us. Now, I'm going to lower all your hands. So at such time as I need to poll you or ask you how you feel, if you want to vote on a motion, you can raise your hand if you're in favor of something, and you can leave your hand down if you're against it. So that's the way we're going to conduct the business we have in front of us this evening. So joining me as panelists this evening are our officers, the Resident Association officers, Jerry Smith, the Vice President, Mary Kevorkian, the Secretary, and Mary Bowles, our Treasurer. Also participating in tonight's program are Joe Losey and Chuck Borst, as well as the nominees for office who will be introduced to you later. I especially want to welcome some members of the Westminster Board of Directors who are here tonight. Would you raise your hand so that I can recognize you? There's Diana Benito. There's who is that? Steve Skurlock. Welcome, Steve. Glad to have you with us. I believe that Diane Williams was going to be here, and I may just not be able to see her name on the screen. So I just want to say, as I have before, that the volunteer members of the Westminster Board of Directors really contribute so much to the to this organization, and they're community leaders, and they give of themselves and their time to make Westminster the outstanding place that it is. And so we thank you. We really thank you. And then we have three resident directors who are also on the board. I'm one of them as president of the association. And Sheldon Lloyd is a designated member, and Max Sherman is the other designated member. And so in addition to the community leaders that are represented on the board, you have your own fellow residents also there with in a position to speak, make ourselves heard, and of course we are fully voting and participating members of the board. So so much for the housekeeping. I'd like at this time to recognize the residents, the new residents who've moved into Westminster since January 1st of 2020. Some of them have been introduced at welcoming parties that were done either before the pandemic in person, or after the pandemic. We had a couple of welcoming events, but at any rate, we do have. I want to take this opportunity to recognize them now, and if you'll bear with me a second. Here they are.
Down.
Excuse me. Here we go.
Enter.
I apologize for that. Let me just take care of the volume for just a minute, if somebody will remind me to put it back on so we don't have that problem. Okay, here we go. It's really something to see those pictures. We see the people with the masks on, and it's amazing to me how involved so many of you new residents have become in the affairs of Westminster, and we appreciate it. Several of you are already represented in the New Writers Journal, and that's really good to see. So I hope that now that you've seen what these people actually look like without their masks on, you'll find an opportunity to welcome them. The next item on the agenda is the President's report. And I'll report on some of the things that your Residents Association has been doing during 2020. The Executive Committee met monthly, as it always does. After the pandemic began, we started meeting on Zoom. Some of major actions, we finished conversion of the Christmas Fund to the Resident Appreciation Fund, which makes the contributions to the RAF tax deductible. There were a lot of forms to file, tax return long form, and just a lot of paperwork that had to be finished, and we got that all done. We added two non-voting positions to the Executive Committee, an Assistant Secretary, Sharon Verlander, and Lori Humphreys, and an Assistant Treasurer, Sharon Verlander. And we set up a procedure for access to records kept in officers' apartments should we need them. We adopted formal policies for the Residents Appreciation Fund and for the Writers Journal. We held a casino night, and we hope to repeat that as soon as we can after the pandemic ends. Many of the committees continued to function despite the pandemic. You have in your meeting materials reports from all of the committees. The Banner continued to publish monthly, thanks to Pat Wright. The library has had a record year on books taken out by residents. And Helen Spear and her volunteers have done a wonderful job in the library. We all have more time to read, I think. The Welcoming Committee, as I mentioned, has had 2 virtual welcoming meetings. The Food Committee met monthly and gave resident perspective to the dining services staff about the delivery menus and about the Laurel reopening, and we're very active. Building and Grounds Committee had a very active year with all the projects going on. A new endeavor, the Westminster Residents Present. This was a new initiative designed to encourage residents to present programs about the work in their fields, which were recorded and shown on Channel 1890, and that's continuing. We've had many programs since that started in September. And Lori Humphreys and her committee have done an outstanding job there. The Writers Journal, as you probably have heard, fall edition is here and is now on sale in the little store and will be sold in the lobbies, I think tomorrow and Thursday. And if you look at the meeting materials which you were furnished, there's sign-up information, and if you read those committee reports and find where you would like to spend some time in service to the community. So that concludes my report, and I'm going to call on our eminent treasurer, Mary Bowles, now to make the treasurer's report. Mary?
Well, now, dears, you know this is an annual meeting, and that's going to include most of 12 months figures. So I'll forgive you if you go to sleep. So we started with $13,955, and here we go. During the year, we added $431 for purchase interest income from 2 CDs, I'll save some yawns and not comment on the interest rate, but we do have 2 expirations in 2021. You can look forward to that with great excitement. What will the interest rate be then? Interest in treasures, and I can't wait till we get going again on that. It was 4,242, which came mostly from Westminster selling for us. Thanks, pals. Casino night was an exciting 6,010, although I won nothing. Casino Bazaar was a beautifully limited 925. So despite you know what and high water, we still brought in 11,608. However, we did have expenses. 1,973 for the Westminster banner, and I'm sorry we're not standing up in the hall to give Pat Wright a standing ovation. Same old publications this year, New York Times, Austin American Statesman, what's left of it, and being printed in San Antonio. It totaled 1,025. Wall Street Journal is coming due. Books were $86. That doesn't seem like that's quite enough. We could encourage our library guru, Helen Spear, to find some more that are necessary to buy. But she also deserves a standing ovation. We paid $500 for the talent show. The Residents Association is now the proud owner of a QuickBooks program, its very own. And Zoom activity was 204. You know you want us to be extremely current on this high-tech business. Earlier this year, we blessed Westminster Friendship Fund with $4,000. Add to that $1,100 we gave to memorialize 37 of our dear ones who left us this year. Also, we gave $3,000 to the scholarship fund, which is quite worthwhile. Hooray, that's all the expenses, $12,628. A net loss of $1,020. Now that's all the income expense, and we come to the usually very boring balance sheet where we see the association balance and the RAF balance. We're getting a report on that, so I won't steal their thunder. I don't want to steal anybody's thunder or anything. The 3 beautiful CDs stay at $12,500 each, or $37,500. The other activity on the balance sheet was scintillating. We paid Westminster the balance of $1,761 brought forward from 2019 of the residents' art display area. This was for the lighting. That's another reason to live here in case you haven't figured that out yet. Thank you, Kay Arms. Another standing ovation. And the Writer's Journal has a current balance of 645. Nice, the end. The residence bank balance today is 11,908. Any questions, you know where I am. Now I have just one more thing, dear ones. If you recall, I have always tried to give you accounting lessons in our little meetings. But here we are at the end of the semester at Christmas, and today will be the final exam. The question: do you know how an accountant values Santa's sleigh? Nobody's answering. I'll tell you, net present value. Good night.
That was net present value. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Mary. Thank you very much. Sorry that you can't hear the applause all over the room. So. The next item on the agenda is a report from Jill Losey, who, with her committee, has done a marvelous job this year with the Residents Appreciation Fund. So, Jill, tell us how it went.
Well, I am very happy to report to you the Residents Appreciation Fund, as we know as RAF, achieved and even slightly exceeded our goal of $200,000. We'll be distributing 280 holiday checks to our Westminster associates this Wednesday. And we had an outstanding committee who started working on this project in August. And I want to recognize them: Boyd Taylor, Vince Bove, Cynthia Leach, Jerry Smith, Sharon Verlander. And this could not have been achieved with all of you out there in television land. I'm deeply appreciative to all of your support, and I thank you so very much.
Well, thank you, Jill.
You
That's-
are welcome.
That's exceeds by a large amount the best year we've ever had. So it's
Well, that's the most money we've ever asked.
that's exactly what I meant to say, Mary. Thank you. And I will also only add to that as I said before, your contributions to the RAF are tax deductible, and you will be receiving donation letters from the association after the 1st of January. So don't look for them before then, but you'll get them after the 1st of the year. And again, thank you, Jill and the committee, and thank you, the residents. So we now come to the time when we have a report from the nominating committee. Jerry Smith is the chair. So Jerry, would you present your report, please?
Yes, I'm happy to. I want to first recognize the committee. They were Mary Brooks, Janie Flack, Paul Lehman, and Jim Woolrich. And this was interesting. We had probably about 50 people nominated. Of course, some of them were overlaps from other people. So we probably had about 25, 30 people, names presented to us that we could choose from. So this was very difficult. But this is the ones I'm proposing to be nominated or to be elected. Sheldon Lloyd. Sheldon, would you say something so we can see you?
Sure, be glad to. Jerry
Great.
asked me earlier to be as brief as possible, that perhaps just saying my name would be satisfactory. So my name is Sheldon Lloyd. I would like to add Merry Christmas to everyone. I hope to see you all around.
Thank you, Sheldon. Sheldon is returning as a designated member, and that means he will be serving on the Westminster Board of Westminster. We also have Cynthia Leach. Cynthia, would you say something?
I'm here, Cynthia.
Okay, great. And Camille Miller.
I'm Camille Miller, and happy holidays, everyone.
Thank you. Both of these have also are serving on the board now. They did such a fabulous job. We thought we'd let them have another term of 2 years. New coming on the board is Laurie Humphreys. Laurie, will you say something?
She was
She's
here.
muted.
Maybe she's
She's muted.
Oh, she muted.
There we go.
Oh, okay.
I'm somewhat technologically impaired, it seems.
Okay.
I'm Laurie Humphreys. I'm very happy to be nominated for this position. Thank you. Oh,
Thank you. And Julie Brooks.
Hi, I'm Julie Brooks.
Great.
Happy holidays. Look forward to seeing you.
So we're very thrilled for this, to have these people. And so I am, Boyd, as a report from the nominating committee, I move that we elect these people to the board.
All right. Is there a second to the motion?
We don't need one since that's the committee report.
Well, thank you. You're correct. So, do I have any other nominations from the floor, or I will entertain a motion to elect these nominees by acclamation and show of hands. Do I have that motion? Apparently not. All right, we will have a vote. All in favor of this slate of nominees, please raise your hand.
Yeah.
And it is unanimous. Congratulations to each of you, and thank you for agreeing to work on behalf of the community in these important roles. So at this time, I would like to thank the retiring executive committee members, Joe Kirk and Mike Roach. Joe served as assistant treasurer for the RAF and as liaison to the food committee. And Mike was a founding editor of the Writers Journal and served on the audit committee and was liaison to the activities committee. And so we thank them both for their dedicated service to the Westminster Residents Association. That concludes our formal business of this meeting, and so I'm happy to call on our Executive Director, Chuck Borst, for a year-end report. Chuck, it's yours.
Thank you, Boyd. Hopefully you can see my screen, yes?
Yes.
All right. Boyd, I just wanted to thank you for your years of service as president of the Residents Association and for putting up with me for the last couple of years. I know it's been rough. So I'll miss our weekly meetings. I always like to start off with a little humor. So I've actually had this conversation with my daughter recently, who's 11. Hey, Dad, some kid told me Santa Claus wasn't real. He said it's just you and Mom. Seriously? Well, I was hoping that we wouldn't have this conversation for a long time, but I guess I don't have much choice now. See, the truth is, champ, a lot of kids just suck. I knew it. They're bad kids that don't believe in Santa, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully you got a letter in your box about the increase for the year. I always try to explain a little bit about where our revenue comes from. This is the pie chart I usually show. You can see that 70% of our revenue comes from independent living, your monthly service fees. And then the orange is the healthcare center. The gray area is our assisted living currently, which of course will increase with the Carlisle expansion. 2% is our clinic. And then the other operating revenue is light blue. About $26 million is our operating revenue for a year. Our major expense categories, this probably comes as no surprise, and this large blue area is our wages, and the orange area is our employee taxes and benefits. We have a very robust benefits package here, great health insurance. So these two pieces of pie keep getting larger and larger, and that's 66% of our overall expenses go to pay our associates, which we have, as you covered earlier, about 290 associates working part-time and full-time, and about 25 to 30 PRN employees. Food is another big category for us. It's about 8%. Utilities is 5%. And healthcare center ancillaries, so therapy charges, things like that, are a big chunk as well. We spend very little comparatively to many organizations like ours on the marketing. It's only 2% of our overall budget, so it's a pretty impressive number. Our budget occupancy, I've gotten a lot of questions about this on our chat recently. Our budget occupancy for 2021 is 95%. In independent living, 95.45%, in assisted living, and our arbor is budgeted for 90.66%, which is a little lower than I've typically done, but that's necessary so that we can have an isolation unit to use for new admits. Key assumptions for 2020, I'm happy to report that we will have a 2% monthly fee increase. We really do try to make this as little impact as we can to residents. I know any increase is impactful, but we did really try to honor the residents, and the 2020 has not been ideal. You have not been able to enjoy the amenities that we try to provide, and we tried to do the best we could and having as little an increase as possible. We also increased the small inventory entrance fees by 2%, which small inventory is anything 650 square feet or less, a 4% increase to our large inventory. I'll explain just a little bit. On the small inventory entrance fees, we did a market study last year, and we found that our small inventory entrance fees was a little high for the square footage that we were providing. So I'm trying to realign us with the market demand. There's a 2% projected increase in assisted living and a 2% increase in the Arbor daily rate, our healthcare center. And we anticipate a 3% increases in wages. Capital expense projects, even though 2020 was a rough year and we had a lot going on with the pandemic, a lot of challenges, we have completed quite a few projects. The water management project is almost completed, should be for phase 1. Phase 2 is next year. We'll be adding water softening to the entire campus. We completed the Preston lobby renovation, the Laurel dining room renovation. We moved the art studio just recently. That's been completed. The Preston cooling tower has been replaced. The Preston main chiller has been replaced. The Preston interior window work will be finished at the end of this month. That's a project that's been going on for almost a year. We purchased healthcare medical equipment to reduce our use of rental equipment and to make us more self-sufficient, which I think was a good idea. We did that early enough in the year that we had plenty of oxygen concentrators on hand if we would need them, as other organizations were experiencing shortages out there in the industry. We also refurbished 30+ apartment homes, replaced various pieces of kitchen equipment, environmental service equipment, and healthcare center equipment. We added an EKG system to the clinic. We did a parking lot and driveway reseal, which you couldn't tell it now because it's covered with a lot of dirt. Hopefully that'll be over soon. Preston carpet replacement, which you've seen, it's completed on 5, 4, and 3, and I think they're working on 2 this week. We also replaced our business IT systems, which are switches and servers, things like that. We also replaced 30 computers, and we replaced 2 boilers. Next year, in 2021, we anticipate that we're going to reinvest into Westminster about $2.8 million in capital expense projects. Those include aisle apartment refurbishments, Preston corridor renovation, so we'll be painting and renovating the halls, including the handrails. We're going to install a keyless entry system for all apartments in both buildings. Elevator 4 modernization, so that's elevator on A wing. Water in Preston, water management projects that I talked about earlier, the water softener system. The Laurel dining room chair replacement, which is something every executive director hates to do, but I think we've identified a very good chair up in the solarium that we're going to use, and we're going to roll that out into the Laurel. We'll be replacing those chairs with solarium type chairs, which everybody seems to like. We have a big Preston courtyard plumbing project to complete, and that'll probably be done in the first quarter of 2021 when you're not able to use the courtyard anyway as much. We're also going to purchase a 14-passenger bus to replace one of ours that's about 10 years old. 2 sedans and a resident shuttle van. We're also going to, after the plumbing work is completed in the Preston courtyard, we'll be doing some concrete work to level all of the sidewalks in that area. A signage project for the campus, and also AV upgrades to the chapel in Harrisville Hall and any other things. We're also going to add a studio hopefully in 2021 so that you can create resident content for Channel 1890. Just wanted to mention our fundraising for Alzheimer's Texas. The team raised $77,000. Ruth Sanil was the top fundraiser for our community. She raised almost $11,000 herself. I came in far second, so I'm proud of Ruth, and she received that very attractive telephone-like trophy there with the old dial. So Westminster's COVID numbers, you're probably tired of hearing about it. I'm tired of talking about it, but I'll give it to you anyway. We've had 19 cases since March the 9th, 2 deaths, 16 have recovered, and 1 is recovering now. Sorry, that's a mistake right there. Associates, we've had 24 cases, 2 are recovering. We've tested almost 3,000 residents, staff, and private caregivers, and our infection rate is 1.89%, which is really a good number. Please continue to be diligent. Texas tracker continues to spike after Thanksgiving, which was kind of expected. Cumulative cases, we're at 1.2 million in Texas now. Independent living visitation, just reminders. I appreciate all of you for abiding by the restrictions and precautions that we have in place. Scheduled visits must be through the reception desk. Visits may take place in designated locations only. Visits are limited to 2 persons for 1 hour. Social distancing and masks must be worn. No eating or drinking with visitors. Associates will address residents and visitors that are not following the protocol, and visiting hours are still restricted to 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. We're still in phase 2. The only change I made was when Travis County entered into stage 4 precautions, I reduced the capacity in the Laurel dining room to 25% as a further precaution. I just wanted to make sure that we're able to maintain social distance in that dining room. I hope to relieve that restriction when we come off of stage 4 for Travis County. We are getting a lot of information. Not all of the questions are being answered about the vaccine. We do know that it will likely be available in phases over the next weeks, months. Likely that we're going to get doses here at Westminster before the end of December. The federal government is partnering with CVS and Walgreens to distribute and administer the COVID-19 vaccine. It's a program that is to make sure that the vaccine gets to long-term care residents once available. As soon as the final approval is received by the FDA, they're going to start distributing the vaccine. We are registered with CVS, Omnicare, which is our pharmacy of choice, our partner. Omnicare CVS will be doing the scheduling and coordinating of approximately 3 on-site clinics here on the campus, of course, with us. They're going to order the vaccines and the associated supplies. They're going to ensure that the cold chain management for the vaccine is maintained, and they're going to provide on-site administration of the vaccine. We're going to set up vaccination rooms, clinics for them to do that service for us. They will report all required vaccination data, adhere to all applicable CMS requirements for COVID-19 testing of their contractors. And this is a little old, so this is possibly changed a little bit as further recommendations are coming out from the CDC. But you can see phase 1 is high-risk healthcare workers, first responders, and older adults living in congregate or overcrowded settings. So we're considered congregate setting. We're a CCRC with a skilled nursing and assisted living. So we're going to be in that phase 1. Phase 2 and 3 and 4 are continuing to change, but this is what they have for us, what they've told us recently. This is coming from the American Healthcare Association. Phase 2, critical workers and high risk, people of all ages with comorbidities, underlying health conditions. And then phase 3 would be young adults, children, workers in industries and occupations important to the functioning of society, et cetera. And then phase 4 would be everyone else residing in the United States. The clinic schedule, basically clinic 1 will be a dose 1 for everyone in the community that needs the vaccine. Clinic 2 will be a couple weeks later, dose 2 for everyone who received dose 1. So it is a 2-dose system. And then dose 1 for new staff or new admissions or new move-ins that we might have that occur between the first clinic and the second clinic. And dose 3 will be dose 2 for those who receive dose 1 at the clinic too. So there may be significant side effects after a dose, possible for a couple days. So we will be monitoring everybody's health, and we'll educate you on all the information that we get as soon as we get it. 2020 has been a challenging year. I think we're all glad to see it behind us, or to move behind us. Even though it's been a challenging year, Westminster still has had some great achievements. We've maintained our 5-star rating for the 12th year. We achieved excellence in the workplace, Leading Age Texas, top fundraiser Alzheimer's Texas, and top fundraiser amongst all LCS communities, which is pretty cool. It's 150 communities across the United States that participate in that. Max Sherman was awarded Family Elder Care 80/80 Outstanding Public Servant of the Year. Shudi Fath was selected as 2020 Inspirational Senior Texan by Leading Age Texas. We received a silver award for our annual report from Mature Media, 3 gold awards, the most we've ever received from Marcom for annual report, newsletter, and book fair documents. We had a deficiency-free Westminster audit of our financials, a deficiency-free 403B audit, 6 deficiency-free infection control surveys of our skilled nursing, our healthcare center, and 2 for assisted living. And that's pretty extraordinary given these days and times. Fitch BBB rating and stable. Platinum Hermes Creative Award for our annual report. We had a groundbreaking for our Carlisle expansion in July, even though we didn't get together to celebrate that. Top workplace for 2020, and that's the 7th year for us. Our turnover is less than 25%, which is always my goal, 22%. And I was just informed that Life Care Services, our management company, achieved the J.D. Power Award for top resident satisfaction among senior living communities for the 2nd year. Pretty cool year, considering. Construction update. If you're not watching the cameras, it's here's a picture. We're almost finished with the hole. It's been dug. Now we're just removing this debris and gravel, but it's as deep as it's supposed to go. So that's good news. The Windsor is also excavated, and they're moving forward there. Bridge number 2, which is the bridge between the Preston and the pool, that work is ongoing with the completion expected at the end of January. That'll be enclosed, air-conditioned space. The structural steel is in place now. Electrical work inside Windsor, level 3 and 4 hallways is ongoing, and completion is supposed to be around the 23rd of this month. I apologize for the Windsor pool being shut down for a little bit. They're working on the windows. The tentative start date for framing and waterproofing was supposed to be December the 3rd. It was supposed to be completed already. It should be completed this week. They are pouring concrete for the base of the crane, the tower crane that will be installed this week. The tower crane will be installed on December the 18th. So that'll be fascinating if you get a chance to look at your links. If you don't have the link, then reach out to reception and we'll pass it on to you. But we're going to shut down half of Bull Creek Road. There'll be flaggers out there. It should be pretty interesting. There'll be a crane brought in to build this crane. So it's going to be pretty interesting. The Windsor courtyard work is ongoing. The reason that that's been moved to the front of the project is hopefully that it will be completed in early spring so we can actually start using our Windsor courtyard again. Please do wear your mask when you're outside of your apartment and when you're receiving services in your apartment. Please wear your mask like London does, okay? That's a good example. Please follow all precautions. Wash your hands, maintain at least 6 feet distance. Wear your mask, avoid touching your face, avoid touching your mask. Cover your mouth and nose when coughing or sneezing. Stay home if you feel unwell, and avoid large gatherings. Even though we're in the midst of a pandemic, we're still having a lot of fun. Our holiday happenings for associates, they're doing a holiday door decorating contest. as well as residents are. And then the 4th, we had the holiday kickoff event where they got a holiday treat box as well. Resident gift to associates is going to occur on the 10th, and those will be handed out by the department directors to their associates. On the 15th, we're having a holiday meal for all of our associates, and then they will also receive a Westminster jacket and a board gift. Holiday happenings for the residents, so I hope you're paying attention to all the stuff that's going on. There's a lot of fun. You're also hopefully participating in the holiday door decorating contest, where there will be prizes. You received your holiday treat boxes, I hope. Most of you, or a lot of you, sent me letters. Appreciate that very much. The 12th is evening holiday music with the Hot Peppers. That sounds pretty cool. The 13th, a live music with the Klezmer Ensemble. The 14th, resident hosted musical journey. The 22nd, classic Christmas with David White. The 24th, the holiday sing-along with Lisa Clark. The 29th, the holiday magic show. And the 31st, Texas Swing Band. So thank you all for everything you do to make Westminster a great place to live and work. Happy holidays. Appreciate you all very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Chuck. You're still on. Let's see. Are you going to take off your screen view there? I think.
I'm going to try.
Yeah, why not?
There we go.
Okay. Well, we really appreciate what you and your leadership team and all the associates do for us, Chuck. And if we don't say it often enough, it's not because we don't think it every day, and that we're very fortunate to be here at Westminster. And so thank you again, and congratulations on a really outstanding year for Westminster, given the environment in which we're operating. So
Thank you, Matt.
I would also like to thank Jill and Mary Bowles and Jerry for their hard work and participation in the program tonight. And I would like to congratulate Sheldon and Cynthia and Camille, Lori and Julie. Welcome aboard, those of you that are new, and we're going to have a good 2021. So let's all enjoy it. And to all of you who came tonight as attendees, thank you for attending. My last word to you will be, please be very cautious. Observe the social distancing and wear your mask. Be safe and be well, and we'll see you next time. Thank you very much, and good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.